so passive in everything that they do. There's no energy about them. There's no aggression in what they do. The lethargic nature of how they close the ball down and they let Brighton get into their stride. I mean, this is early on in the game. I mean, you can't say they're tired because they are running to get there. It's just that when they get there, they don't do anything. It's almost as if they've been told, be going out, that this is an 11v11 and we don't want anyone getting injured, so it's going to be passive. This period of play here, I mean, not a glove has been laid on one Brighton player and they've gone from one end of the pitch to the other. Now, eventually, it breaks down, but there's just nothing about them. They're just so passive, and that's why they can't get wins, because unless things roll over for them and let them play their football, they get beat.
Is there any chance, I know you were saying that jokingly about that they're instructed to, but is there any chance that there is an instruction there, press, but sort of do a half, press, but don't burst yourselves on it in case they then pick you off over the top?
I think again you have to go back to where Arteta's come from and who he's been learning from, and you look at Pep Guardiola and how he sets his teams up. His teams have been the best pressing teams in world football for the last few years. They press like no one else. So Arteta would have come with that same sort of mantra and attitude, but he doesn't instill that in his players. He doesn't seem to ask them for them. And it's not like you're asking players, we talked about it, you don't have to be talented to press and have energy and show intensity when you go after people. You just have to want to get there, and when you want to get there, go and affect the game and affect the player. And at the moment, they're not doing that. And I can't imagine that's coming from the manager.
It's amazing though, because the quote Owen gave us before the game about having ideas of playing football, and maybe there's a different, I don't know the exact quote.
Yeah, well, essentially what he said was that he has ideas, but he's had to adapt things because he was a polite way of saying the players aren't quite as good as he expected.
But I'm pretty certain his ideas must involve from Pep Guardiola pressing, and not just pressing and getting there and standing off and letting the player get the pass off, but showing him a certain way. Even we were talking off camera about when you close down as a fullback, showing someone inside so the midfield player knows it's coming inside, so now I can go and press. Saka just gets there straight down the middle. You can go inside, go outside. I don't understand that quote that you just gave us.
It was a couple of chances for Brighton as well. Maybe nothing too clear cut, but do you think they look like the team more likely?
Yeah, they had a bit more intensity about them. When they got into the final third, they looked a bit more dangerous. And Arsenal were guilty giving the ball away and losing it in really dangerous areas, which just set Brighton up on counter-attacks and getting opportunities to have shots on goals. But they get it wide here, they get into the box. Their first contact when it comes in, and we just got discussing the percentages of when you get first contact here again, and then he loses the ball.
It's really basic stuff, just giving the ball to opponents outside your own box.
Like simple things. Don't play a square pass in front of your own goal, and they do it so many times. This here gets crowded out. Brighton show a little bit of bite about them to win the ball back, and they go forward and they create an opportunity again. And it's a lot of it from Arsenal's lack of wanting to clear the ball properly, wanting to pass it properly, and just giving up Brighton opportunities. And it's poor from Arsenal. It really is.
Not great by Xhaka there, was it?
It's a lack of appetite for the game. They look like they've got no appetite for it. They've had an extra day's rest than what Brighton have. Fair enough, Brighton have made more changes, but I mean, what Xhaka just did there, let the ball bounce, bring it down, and then when he gets it nicked off him, he just falls over and they get counter-attacked on. It's the appetite, the desire to win a game of football, they just don't have it.
Do you think it's mainly down to that as opposed to tactical nuances or anything like that? You just think it's a desire issue?
Absolutely. I can't imagine that Mikel Arteta is saying to his players, just shadow press, shadow play, and hopefully the interception will come, or we'll win the ball back, or let's just wait for them to give it away so we can have it back and then we can have a little attack. I can't imagine that's the instruction.
No, like I said, the quote you talked about talent, and it was almost like he doesn't have the players to do what he wants to do, but you don't need to have talent to get your players to press and show intensity.
Absolutely.
And the want to will. And then when you get close to somebody, actually grab them, tackle them, do something to stop them from moving forward the ball. Like, you don't have to give fouls away all the time, but you actually show you're in a game. Like, the first thing you do as a fullback, as a defender, when you're playing against a winger, you want to let them know you're in a game. And if you catch them or you give them a little knock or something, it's to show the intent that they're not going to get all their own way. And Arsenal don't do that.
Yeah.
I mean, what's interesting is they've kept the young players in. We talked about it. There was the option bringing Aubameyang back to maybe let Martinelli sit in the bench, because they've got a lot of young players in there. If they're not either willing or able, it's funny because you look at the likes of Liverpool, and you could say that some players might feel that they're too big to do the sort of basic stuff that you guys are talking about. But I mean, you've got the likes of Salah and Mane and these guys doing it, so there's no reason that young Arsenal players shouldn't be doing the same thing.
There's a reason that Liverpool are successful at the top of the league and they're fighting relegation.
But that is basic stuff.
And I'm not lying to you, it is as simple as that.
You don't need to be able to do it.
The other bits will come, but I mean, that is a non-negotiable for me. You show up, you put a shift in, you lay a hand on people, you let them know that if you make a mistake, I'm going to make it off you. I'm going to apply pressure to you. You're not having it all your own way. I mean, the first chance, the clip of chance we saw there, you want to see Saka. I don't know if we can see it again. He's just literally running around in circles, jogging, just as the play's getting played around him, and then lets the cross come in the box.
We might show that at full time, but I do want to show you a little bit of skill that I think you're both quite impressed with.